I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and let's focus on verses 1 through 4. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the entire community of Israel. Tell them, you people are to be holy because I, the Lord your God, am holy. Every one of you is to revere his father and mother, and you are to keep my Sabbaths. I am the Lord your God. Don't turn to idols, and do not cast metal gods for yourselves. I am the Lord your God." I find it interesting how chapter 18 dealt with the sinful behavior that caused the Canaanites to be expelled from the land. Chapter 19 begins as chapter 18 ends with the challenge to be holy, that is, separate from other nations and customs. And also intriguing is how immediately following God's reason for expelling the Canaanites from the land and his command of holiness, God reminds Israel of the fifth commandment. Exodus 20, verse 12 said this, "Honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land that the Lord is given to you." Now, the beautiful irony is that the fifth commandment is the only commandment with a promise, directed toward longevity in the land. So, allow me to clarify, when we put these two chapters, 18 and 19, together, sexual sin becomes increasingly more perverted and eventually leads to expulsion from the land. Honoring your father and mother ensures longevity in the land. And perhaps we should look closer at what it means to honor your father and mother. Because honoring one's parents means more than simply obeying your mom and dad. You bring honor to your parents when you honor the Lord. For instance, if both of your parents are unbelievers and they strongly oppose your belief in Jesus, well, then the best way to honor them is by disobeying their wishes and becoming a believer. Your following the Lord brings honor to your mother and your father, even if it goes against their wishes. So sexual sin and honoring your parents are diametrically opposed. Why? Because God is concerned with both familial and spiritual legacies. So the fruit of sexual relations is in your offspring. We honor the Lord with our lives, and when we do that, we ensure that we produce not only good works unto the Lord, but also that our offspring will do so as well. Obedience to God and the continuation of a God-honoring legacy throughout the generations are inseparable. So from holy people come children whom, when raised in a God-honoring environment, have a stronger possibility of growing into a strong community that continues to honor God throughout the generations. But carnal people, well, number one, homosexuals bear no offspring at all. So outside of God's intervention, carnal people will continue in a downward moral spiral. So what is the command? To be holy. Surrender yourself to the Lord and to His ways, and let Him establish your legacy of holiness. And your first step is to surrender to Jesus if you haven't already done it. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. If you want to know more about surrendering to the Lord, go to our website, groundworksministries.com.